sunshine through my dress while I sing along another day. I find a way to carry on. The rejection, just is overwhelming sometimes. And, if you don't find your strength in the mystery that you are, it can be overwhelming. And that's really kind of what Mystery Bead and the whole concept of a Mystery Bead is about for me, is to empower my fellow transgender people. But lack of health care is an issue that just, you feel hopeless. If you don't have the money, I'm lucky that I'm in a position where I have enough money, at least to keep me going. And, I have health insurance from my last day job and stuff. So, but imagine people that are trying to negotiate the transition and get the help that they need, psychologically and physically, but psychologically really important, to be able to work through this and find that strength to overcome the prejudice of a dysfunctional culture, because as we're seeing right now, that is what we're living in, a very, very dysfunctional culture, out of control. What was it they used to say about insane asylums? The inmates have taken over, and it's just true. I mean, they're all crazy. They're lying to you, and that really contributes to the suicide rate. It really does. Every time, and I highly encourage everybody to do that. Every time I go to my doctor's visit, and I go, like once or twice a year, they always ask you, the nurse always asks you, are you depressed?
Yeah.
And I say, yes, I am. Yeah. And why do I do that? Not because I can't handle it. I want it to be registered so that there are statistics that show how much people are depressed and why they're depressed. And I think that's very important for us to do. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you're depressed at all. But Reluctant Phoenix, I wrote because I remember when I first started getting counseling, over the transgender issues, one of the things that psychologists and psychiatrists would say to me as well, you have to fix what's inside. What's good. You're causing your own problems, and I'm sorry, that's not always the case, and especially for transgender people, it's not the case. So it's a very depressing song if you only listen to the first two verses. But Reluctant Phoenix is about, that hesitation to take that power and to rise up. And in the chorus it says, but I love the morning sun, I love the way the sun shines through my
Hmm.
dress as I carry on.
Hmm.
Another day I make my way. So
Yeah.
that's the story of that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ending, and I'm glad it ends like that too, because uh
I, I was really surprised. My mom would often ask me if I'm doing that song and everything. She
oh wow,
she liked that
she liked
song
that
for some,
song.
and that's
Yeah.
very atypical of my mom.
Yeah,
But she
yeah.
liked it. Yeah.
I think because it comes around and it is the phoenix rising at the end, you know.
Right. Right.
We play "Girl to Look Good," and
Oh boy.
there are some a lot of issues to talk about in that song. It was recorded by an early group that you had
Yeah.
formed, Wink
Hmm.
K and the Sacred
Crazy.
Crazy Dogs. Yeah,
The Crazy Sacred Dogs. And,
yeah.
I think I've mentioned that before. The name came because, there's Neil Young and Crazy Horse. So that was my way of saying Crazy Horse.
Uh,
Crazy,
yeah.
which is what his name literally translates to in Lakota is crazy sacred dog.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. If I'm not, please correct me. Um, but yeah, I mean, it gets back to this whole thing that we're not the norm, but we are normal. And um, one of the things that thankfully something made me keep growing and questioning myself along the way. And one of the experiences that I had when I wrote that song was, I was going to um, gay clubs, mainly, where they had drag shows and things like that, because I knew I wasn't going to get beat up, and it was a safe place.
Hmm. Hmm.
And but the passive aggressive things that I faced, is like, why don't you wear false eyelashes? Why don't you
Mm.
shave your arms? Look, oh my God, that's horrible. It looks just like a man's arm, don't it? Um, and things along that line. And
Yeah.
I would get
Wow.
that from the little Marys, the gay boys that were overly effeminate or did drag themselves. And it made me think, well, that's a stereotype about what it
Hmm.
means to be a woman, and it actually comes from you know male dominated culture.
Hmm.
So the gay men that were saying those things to me don't even realize what they're saying or where they were coming from, that they were trying to guilt me into like wearing false nails and eyelashes. If you want to be a woman, you got to do that. It's like, tell me what it means to be a woman. So that was
Hmm.
one of the things that was going on. And the lesbian culture at that time, and it's still kind of that way. I don't have, I play gigs and do my shows and everything, and I honestly, I've had very few lesbian women's approaching me. I really like you. You want to go out on a date? It's like it's kind of taboo in that world,
Mm.
because you're really a man, and I'm a lesbian, so I can't. It's like get past all those labels and stuff. But so I wrote it thinking about what women have to go through. And again, I think
Hmm.
the issue with lesbian women was that they viewed transsexuals and transgender people as being an idea, a stereotype of what it means to be a woman and presenting yourself that way. And indeed, in all fairness, when I first started out, I did exactly that. I did all the
Mm.
stereotypical
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
And as this became an issue, I realized that women, when first of all, transsexuals, especially when they start transitioning, it's like they're going through puberty. So
Mm.
think of think of a young, like budding teenage girl. that just wants, men to notice her
Yes.
and say, you're pretty and but it's like kind of that approval from male society. But most women grow out of that as they get older and put the child, as
Hmm.
Jesus said, put the childish things aside, and fortunately I tried to do that, especially in this song. So
Yeah,
um
you did
y-
it well, and
thank you.
I think as we continue this conversation, and I was thinking there will probably be like an epilogue to the Mystery Beads journey. This might come up and with
Yeah.
other trans folks that we will invite on the show to,
Yes.
comment on this, and I think it's a good one to talk about.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
you can't be afraid to challenge me for. What I say.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe I can learn something that I didn't think about.
Yeah, it's important
Like
to have a
one of the
conversation.
things that
Yeah.
I forget myself is that everybody has their own journey to take, and they
Yes.
have to
Hmm.
discover these things or not discover these things
Hmm.
on their own. I
Hmm.
can't dictate that to them. This is what has worked for me and brought me peace.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
with myself and frankly, with most of the people that I encounter on a regular basis.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't have any problem with my the people that come to Edith May's Paradise, and they're not really, for the most part, gay and lesbian people. It's not like just like-minded people or trans people are coming to the shows. They're mostly straight people, and a lot of them are straight couples.
Hmm.
But they treat me with respect,
Hmm.
and some of them even are amazed at the way I go through this life.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Hmm.
that's the whole thing. The girl should get a medal just for staying alive.
Well, I really appreciate that you work it through too with your music because
Hmm.
it gives us an opportunity to just like use our other senses,
Right.
to interpret and soak these issues in. I just want to say I'm going to be moving along a little fast today
Okay.
because
Okay.
I want to get the
I know
music
you
in.
want you want to get it in. I get you.
Post-op Freeway is the next song.
Hmm.
And, you know, I, until you talked like last week about the surgery and about some of those physical things that you went through,
Hmm.
I didn't really put the puzzle together. And so here is the title of this song, Post-Op Freeway. Of course, it's after your
Hmm.
operation. And
Yes.
you know what I mean? So thank you for writing this song,
Thank
for,
you.
clarifying and I've been playing your music, but you are still clarifying for me some of
Well,
these issues. And thank you for that because
well, you're very welcome.
this is a really important. So shall we
Well,
play the song or do you want to say a few
sure,
words?
play the song. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Just should get a medal just for staying alive. Any other girl would lose her will to survive. She has to work for a living, that's understood. But it ain't easy for a girl to look good. Hundreds of women on the movie screen. Not one of those women looks a thing like me. She thinks she's ugly, and that's not good. But it ain't easy for a girl to look good. Well, all the Mary wore black the night that Garbo died. If you could fit your dress, well, they could tell her goodbye. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God wouldn't have made me if there wasn't a plan. I've made you nervous, I knew I would. But it ain't easy for the girl to look good. Hey! It ain't easy for the girl to look good. It ain't easy for the girl to look good. To look good, to look good, to look good, to look good. It ain't easy. To look good, to look good, to look good, to look good. It ain't easy. To look good, to look good, to look good, to look good. It ain't easy. To look good, to look good, to look good, to look good. It ain't easy. If you've been listening with your eyes, then you would not be surprised to see me standing here. Am I the subject of your hate? Are you too perfect to relate? Do you think I'm so sincere? You know I meant to run that light. I never claimed I'd be polite. Don't want your sympathy or your bloody sacrifice. I will not die, I will not crash.
I would not die, I will not
I
crash.
will not crash so you can laugh. You've seen the music that I made, you would not call it a mistake. You'd see the songs I paint. Listen to the gender dance. Are you afraid to take your chance? Or does blood make you faint? You know I meant to run that light. I never claimed I'd be polite. Don't want your sympathy or your bloody sacrifice. I will not die, I will not crash.
I would not die, I will not crash.
I will not crash so you can laugh. And I will charge you if you stall. I will catch you if you fall. Oh, you just need a tow. Or hear my horn, I'll sing it loud. I'm not just living in the clouds. I own the rainbow. You know I meant to run that light. I never claimed I'd be polite. Don't want your sympathy or your bloody sacrifice. I will not die, I will not crash.
I would not die, I will not crash.
I will not crash so you can laugh. I always signal when I change. I never ride in the left lane unless I'm passing. That night I wore the velvet dress. You said you never would have guessed. You said that laughing. You know I meant to run that light. I never claimed I'd be polite. Don't want your sympathy or your bloody sacrifice. I will not die, I will not crash.
I would not die, I will not crash.
I will not crash so you can laugh. I will not die, I will not crash.
I would not die, I will not crash.
I will not crash so you can laugh.
I would not die, I will not crash.
I will not die, I will not crash.
I would not die, I will not crash.
I will not die, I will not crash.
I would not die, I will not crash.
I will not die, I will not crash.
I would not die, I will not crash.
I will not die.
I would not die, I will not crash.
You
I will
know,
not, I will not, I
I
will
will
not.
not,
Yeah,
and
yeah. That
because
band really,
somebody,
really interpret the music very well. I miss that band a lot.
yeah.
It's a good band.
Uh, I love all the lyrics, they're your personal stories. The night I wore the velvet dress. I mean,
Yeah.
can you share any of the story
Well,
behind the
this
lyrics?
song, well, first of all, I've since then I've changed the arrangement because I'm doing it solo. So I try to,
Hmm.
but I have the first and second verse going into each other, and the second verse is kind of a rewrite. And it's so it says, I bought the ticket, I took the ride, I checked my fears and survived, but I
Hmm.
kept on passing. That night and then it comes that night I wore the velvet dress part. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
one of the major change I made, and I made what is essentially the last verse in the song. I made the third verse the last verse. So when it's I own the rainbow.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's the
That's
last part
beautiful.
before. Yes,
That's
yeah. It's
beautiful.
so.
Oh.
Um, I had a friend that went back pretty far with me, and you were saying post-op. It actually was. I wrote the song before I actually did the surgery and all that. Um, but I was clearly heading in that direction.
Yeah, yeah.
The hormones were doing their thing, and all that was going on, and my electrologist was almost complete. And so, uh, I my friend who knew me for all these years, and he was 4 years behind me in high school, so he was younger than me, and in a lot of ways he looked up to me, and I mean, as far as a male goes, women liked me, and so there was some admiration for me from him, and me being his idea of a successful male,
Hmm.
and so he wrote a song called Sex Change Freeway,
Hmm.
and Post Op Freeway was my answer to him saying, like, wait a minute, because I think he had one line in there like, a pair of tits is not the trophy or something that you need, or and he was really questioning why and where I was going. So it was in that response that I meant to run the light. I never claimed I'd be polite.
Hmm.
So he kind of brought that song out of me, and I do appreciate him for that. But I think he was insulted when I wrote this back to him. I didn't mean anything. So, but
Wow. Yeah. It's a good
so
song.
that's
It's a
where
good song. Yeah.
and again, it's Joseph Campbell. I mean, was really clarified for me why I needed to do this transition, because again, we live in a dysfunctional culture, and
Hmm.
so I had to see myself in two worlds, because I certainly recognize in the reality of the real world, I'm both and neither at the same time. And that's who I am. That's what I am. I'm a balance keeper. I'm a mystery bee. Um, so I'm okay with that,
Hmm.
if I lived in that culture. But, I live in a culture where they said you're either male or you're female. And in order for me to function without bringing attention to myself, all the time, it was like walking into a male's bathroom wearing, makeup and a dress was not going to make
Hmm.
life safe for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, so in the sense that Joseph Campbell talks about the hero's journey, and certainly transgender people, transsexual people, I think especially, are taking the hero's journey, because you're literally jumping into the abyss, and you don't know where you're going to come out on the other side. You don't have a clue, but it's kind of like jumping into the abyss with faith, that you're going to find your way through that forest, And so one of the things Campbell said that really affected me was that you need to go through, as an individual, you need to go through the rites of passage that your society, that your culture provides. And once you go through that rite of passage, your only obligation after that is to follow your bliss. And so that made total sense to me, because this is this dysfunctional cultures saying, if you feel like a woman and you want to be treated like a woman, then you need to change your body to fit that image that we have. Now, all that's kind of going out the window now, but that's how it started in the time that I transitioned. And, you have to learn to look at yourself in both worlds. And that's true not just for transgender people, but for indigenous people as well. And they'll tell you that same thing. We have to think of ourselves in two worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff that they're doing, they're surviving, goes against traditional ways.
Yeah.
But they have to survive. They have to feed their family, and they're caught in a really hard place. And, I needed to get right with myself so that I found peace, so that I could give back to the people. And that's really should be everybody's goal, is to bring your give, back to the people, like you're doing with your show. So that's Post Op Freeway. It's, it's balance is what apparently was the gift that we had, because, we would be intermediaries between men and women that were having issues, or we were consulted in times of whether to go to war or whether not to go to war. And, we were asked to give our children names, special names that would give them power. So it's all about taking your gift and giving back to the people, and sometimes I think we as transgender people, we're so caught up with ourselves most of our lives, and in some ways we're conditioned to be narcissistic, because we look in the mirror, we want to see ourselves as the person we want to be. So, we put our makeup on and we look at ourselves in the mirror, and, how's my dress looking? How, am I looking cool or what, And so we're conditioned to kind of be self-absorbed. And, it really took me some time to break out of that. And, and it helped my music when I did. It really changed my life.
I'd like to get into the next song, which is called Devil's Child.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Here we go. This one really is so strong, because you take on a different persona as far as your voice, and the whole sound effect of, the recording is just so
That's from,
different.
You played the cut from Woman in a Man Suit, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Because I have a live version that's very different than that version. But.
Oh, okay. I'm going to play this now, so we have a little bit of time to talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Here we go.
The power of God is going to strike you down and send you straight to hell. That's not love.
I will not have a man wearing a dress in my courtroom.
That's not love. Oh.
oh my God, hey, girl, is that a man or is that a woman?
That's not love.
Have a man wearing a
That's
dress.
not love.
I will not.
Is that a man?
That's not love.
Oh my God, hey.
That's not love.
Take you straight to hell.
Preacher man tells me I'm living life in sin by having same sex, not the same sex as him. If that's not love, then I'm the devil's child. If that's not love, then I'm the devil's child. I see no evil. I see love. But that's not love. And that's not love. Maria's love Louise, going on 55 years. But they cannot get married. Some senator said that's queer. If that's not love, then I'm the devil's child. If that's not love, then I'm the devil's child. I see no evil. I see love. But that's not love. And that's not love. Question. How come boys like her don't cry? When he can't find an answer, he turns it to a hate crime. If that's love, I'm the devil's child. If that's love, I'm the devil's child. I see evil. I see no love. That's not love. And that's not love. That's not love. And that's not love. 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 That's not love.
Oh my God, hey, girl, is that a man or is that a woman?
All right. Wow. I love that my cat call there at the end, and just what a song.
Part of that is me. The one I will not have a man wearing a dress in my courtroom.
Yes,
That's me.
yeah.
And the one about the walking down the street and
Mm-hmm.
hey, is that a man or a woman? That's
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
But all the other
Wow.
stuff is my co-producer and engineer, Billy Kemp, did all that. And he came up with that arrangement. And the drummer on that track, John Tamakos, he actually played the percussion on a tape box on the old,
Oh, yeah.
whatever
Wow.
inch, half-inch tape box, So it was kind of cool how that came together. But,
I know
yeah,
it. Yeah, your voice and everything in it. It's just
thank you.
perfect.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
it, because, growing up, I mean, again, that was part of my journey too. Growing up, you know, I really believed that I was the devil's child. And my mother's name was Mary. And so Jesus's mother's name was Mary. So I thought somehow, not God, but the devil, impregnated my mother without my father's, knowledge. And there I was. And they used to kid around, and I knew they were kidding and stuff, but still, it'd be like I'd do something stupid and, they did you switch those babies
Oh.
in the hospital? I think I
Oh
did.
my.
I
Yeah.
think they got switched, that kind of stuff. Because, I was always like them or getting in trouble or whatever. And, they would, how did you turn out? How did you get these opinions that you have? And,
It's
stuff
kind of like a
that.
prophecy song too, though, because the stories just keep playing out today,
Yes. Yes, I wrote it
So,
long before everything we're going through
yeah,
now.
but
But I really, I mean, literally, I thought that, I was the devil's child. And I remember having a conversation with God because I grew up Catholic. So, religion was pounded into your head as a kid. And I remember, please, like, either just, magically change me into a girl and, so I can get on my life, or take this burden away from me. I may not have put it in those words because we're talking, 4, 5, 6 years old going through all this. And, it was pretty traumatic for me in that sense, that I said to God, look, I'm not, I don't care if you don't help me. I'm not going to do my father's work, meaning the devil's work. I'm not going to do evil. And, knock on wood, I've been pretty
yeah.
much lived up to that. And I'm still,
Yeah.
it's at least I look at what happened to me as a mystery, and I call Creator great mystery. So
Yes.
at least I've matured on that too,
Yeah.
to some degree there.
Well, we're wrapping it up. We only have a couple more minutes, but we are going to be back. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with Georgie and finish up this part 4. We've got Who's Gonna Be My Valentine and Road to Trinidad coming up, 2 songs that Georgie wrote. And we're going to continue this conversation. So stay with us today here on Moccasin Tracks. And
who's gonna be my Valentine? Who's gonna watch my beauty shine? I'll shine right through your walls of steel. I'll shine until I make you feel a little more than a moment in time. Who's gonna be my Valentine? Who's gonna get me through this night? Who's gonna kiss and hold me tight? Young lovers are watching the same moon as I, as stars move fall, wishes rise. Someone is smiling as I sing this song. Are they wishing and hoping and singing along? Are they walking a tightrope up on the highway? Are they looking like me and stoking the fire? And who's gonna be my Valentine? Who's gonna watch my pick up the phone, call on my neighbor and tell them I'm home. Tell them I love them and I wish them kind. I'm searching the cosmos for my Valentine. And who's gonna be my Valentine? Who's gonna watch my beauty shine? I'll shine right through your walls of steel. Shine until I make you feel a little more than a moment in time. Who's gonna be my Valentine? Who's gonna be my Valentine? Who's gonna be my Valentine? My Valentine. My Valentine. My Valentine. My Valentine. My Valentine. My Valentine.
He said it was the ultimate Valentine song, and it should be one of those greeting cards, and you open it up, and this song plays. So
Yeah.
I agree. But it was written because I know I mentioned my old girlfriend and manager, and she was my first relationship while I was transitioning, and I was with that band Crazy Sacred Dogs, and she saw me at an art show venue. Well, what do you call it? They were trying to raise money to keep the place open.
Mhm.
And I was one of the bands, Crazy Sacred Dogs and me were one of the bands that were playing at it. And she was at that. And I happened to be at this lesbian bar in Canton area of Baltimore. And she was there playing pool. And, she caught my eye, and I guess I caught her eye. So that was my first relationship, but I was still living in between. And I guess we lasted about 4 years, and then things got kind of wacky. But she was also like I don't say this lightly, she was like a teacher to me. She really challenged me and made me think. A lot of the things that I'm talking about today are because of her, because she was a radical, liberal-minded, lesbian. And I loved her deeply, and I wish we were still in contact, but we're not. So after that, and that ended around 96, I guess. And so I wasn't with anybody, and I was going about my business. And the guy that wrote Sex Change Freeway was doing shows with me. He was playing mandolin to my guitar and vocals. And I was playing Gay Pride in Baltimore, and this woman came over and she said, you see that woman over there? She thinks you're the bomb, and she wants to meet you. And I said, well, send her over. I figured maybe she liked some of the songs, and she wanted to buy the CD. And when she came over, she was very attractive and everything. And so I got involved with her over about 3 years, and then the thing just went to hell. She was it was like, I got this sign, do you see it? It says, if you're crazy, apply here. And so she was batshit crazy. She was when she was straight, she was a fundamentalist Christian. and denounced her lesbian tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
When she was drunk, she was full-fledged lesbian, and she was just promiscuous out, like crazy, like picture a pole dancer. That's how she danced, when she went out to dance. And it drove me crazy. And finally, I had to end it. It was the first relationship in my entire life that I ever ended, myself. And, but I had to. She had to go. It was too crazy. It was too insane. I mean, she was part of this fundamentalist church, and just me alone as an issue, not me being involved in the church, or they didn't know me personally, but the whole issue about her being with a transsexual woman, because by that time I had surgery and everything, and with her being with a transsexual woman, the Christians were like, oh no, if you two are going to be together, Georgie has to, denounce her transgenderness and, go back to being a guy somehow. And
oh dear.
Yeah, it was that crazy. And then the lesbian women were like, you're with a man, you shouldn't be with a man. That's a man.
Wow.
And right in front of me, they would tell her how much they loved her, and they wanted to marry her. But at some point towards the end of our relationship, when I was in love with her, I really was. And she was an intelligent woman, and I just thought that I could get through to her with reasoning, And so we actually went down to the courthouse in Annapolis, Maryland, and got married. And this was before marriage equality, before that. So some of the lesbian friends of her, at work complained because why was I allowed to marry her and they can't get married, which was a valid complaint, And I would have fought it if there was some reason to save the relationship, but there was none. Because, if they weren't going to let me marry Angie as a biologically born male, then they had to let me marry a man, because that's pursuit of happiness. I mean, everybody deserves to have a mate and be married. And so it was an open and shut case if it had gone to court, but like I said, it wasn't worth it. But they said, well, they didn't even annul it. They just told Angie, because she inquired, and they said, it's like you never were married, and you're lucky we don't charge you with fraud. And I was like, bring it on, because we had a meeting with this judge. They called him the Marion judge. Robert Duckett was his name. And, he swore he was never going to marry same-sex couples. And my Maryland license said female, so therefore we couldn't be married. So anyway, I was alone after that. And so I guess it was around 2009 maybe, or 2010. I was sitting down in my basement at my piano one Valentine night, and I sat down and I said, there's a documentary by John Candy, and it uses the line from Trains, Planes, and whatever it's called, where Steve Martin is like saying what an idiot he is and how stupid and blah blah blah, and John Candy just says, I like me, and that's what they called this documentary. I like me. And so I kind of, I certainly felt that way myself. Like, I think I'm a pretty good person. I think I'm a good catch for somebody that wants to be in a relationship, But at the same time, I was like, I'm not just going to like fall in love with or pretend to fall in love with somebody in order to have a relationship. I have to have that same spark that I felt when I met my original legitimate wife, and I wasn't going to settle for anything. So that's really what was the inspiration for the, you know, for the song.
Dysfunctional relationships.
Yes, that's me, man. If you want a dysfunctional relationship,
But you
come
got a
my way.
song out of it. You got a song.
Yeah, I did. I got a great
You got
song
a
out.
song out of it. So
It-
that's
it-
cool.
It really should, you know, it really should go a lot further than it has. It really should.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
have
song.
no idea why, you know, somebody like, what's her name? She's a big music star now. Oh man, I can't think of her name. Anyway, she just did that whole thing with Elton John, and before that, she did a thing with some old country star that she brought back, and you know, did an album with. And I can never remember her name, but she's real popular. But you know, somebody like her could really get a lot of mileage from that song and do me a solid. But there's a lot of, you know, I really wanted to get the song to Loretta Lynn before she passed away, because she could have torn that up, you know. Or Dolly Parton, if you're out there and you stumble onto this, do me a solid, please, and cover this song. It's not a bad song. It's a good song.
It's a good song.
Jesus Christ. Help me.
I know. Yeah. You know, next up on the musical journey here is Road to Trinidad. And I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit. You really get into some different things here with this song.
Oh, yeah.
Role models, and really, again, talking about the mystery and embracing the mystery.
When I decided to go ahead with the surgery and all that, and I was getting ready for that, like about a year before, I started a journal, and it was called The Road to Trinidad, because the Trinidad in the song is Trinidad, Colorado. And one of the pioneers of transsexuals, what they call sex reassignment surgery, was Dr. Stanley Biber, and he was based in Trinidad, Colorado. And so I made the decision I was going to go to him.
You be Amelia Earhart. And I'll be Georgie O'Keeffe. Fly me straight to heaven. And I'll paint you a masterpiece. We'll take a slow boat with Shirley. We'll astral plane to the stars. And we'll talk with the grandmothers and the grandfathers. And trade tales on electric guitars.
Every cowgirl gets the blues. Every cowgirl pays her dues. And every Johnny thinks we'll never make it on our own. When they wake from the dreams they've blown, we'll be in Trinidad.
You better take my 6-gun before I shoot someone. I don't need my 6-gun, child. It's too late for me to die young. You be Louise, I'll be Thelma. We'll drive our Thunderbird across this barren land. No savior rides this herd.
Every cowgirl gets the blues.
Every cowgirl
pays her
pays
dues.
her
And
dues.
every Johnny thinks
Every Johnny
we'll never
thinks
make it on our own.
when they wake from the dreams they've blown,
We'll be in Trinidad.
join me on the road to Trinidad? Won't you join me on the road to Trinidad? They can't stop us on the road to Trinidad. They won't stop us on the road to Trinidad. Rock on, Mother Jones. The ultimate kiss. Now there are too many heroes in heaven, or else they all wind up in jail. The torture and silence and shut up. Onto the cross they are nailed. I'm following Indians, outlaws, and Angie DeBoer, riding these Oklahoma plains. They got guns, we got truth, bringing those bad boys to shame.
Every cowgirl gets a
Every cowgirl